Welcome, everyone, back to PBR's The Bullshit Podcast.
You're doing something that's not supposed to be done.
You got to do it day in, day out. Eat, sleep, bull rap.
I'm your host, Riley Lambert. Got a couple guys here with me today that I'll introduce here shortly. This is episode 4, and just all things related: bull riding, rider development, future of the sport, past of the sport, present. You know, we go all kinds of directions here. It's just kind of a free flow of bull riding in general. So we will introduce these guys. To my left, Brady Fielder. Far left, Brady Oleson, members of the Texas Rattlers, and well-known PBR bull riders. And we just, we're gonna flow through this deal on a very smooth pace because we don't want to hurt anyone's neck. But no, just fellas, thanks for being here. It'll, like I've said on all the other podcasts, it'll be the most fun monotone podcast that you could be on, hopefully. But say hello to the viewers. Hello viewers. No, whenever I was going through the guys that who I wanted to have on the podcast, the order we were going in, it only made sense. We're here on technically the Texas Rattlers training grounds. Y'all just got done practicing, training, rehabbing. So it only made sense to just grab you guys while y'all were here and have a little chat. But I know y'all have done plenty of interviews over the course of your time being a part of the Rattlers and being a part of PBR. And lots of people know y'all's story. Maybe something, maybe they'll hear something that they haven't known and that you might want the people to know, or maybe not, whatever. But I just wanted to talk a little bull riding with you guys, and especially since we're in the heat of the PBR team season. I think three events left, not including the finals. But big time coming up. What kind of things are y'all doing right now to stay healthy or to in your case, it's to
get healthy.
To get healthy, but where are you feeling going into North Carolina and getting ready for finals?
Absolutely, yeah. Feeling really good. Just working hard every day, just to better myself every day, and always working to get better. It's a good feeling in yourself, and I think working hard every day towards what you want, and that also builds confidence.
For sure. Talking with other guys, what's a typical day like? What's it look like for you?
Every day I just try and work out, and depends on how I'm feeling. It's just the way my brain works. Some days I work out and build muscle, and then other days I got to go for a run to get fitter, and I like to be feeling like a feather, and just feeling light and ready to ride. Just all depends on how I'm feeling going into it, really.
You bet. And then like how often? I mean, I've seen you here plenty of times, but how often is like rehab and recovery a big part of your week?
Yeah, I try to get worked on as much as I can. Like, just depends where I'm hurting or where I'm sore, but I definitely got to do something about it each and every time, otherwise it only gets worse. And you just got to work through it as well, but get worked on every day and work out.
Is there any, while we're on this subject, and intervene when you feel the need, but like, is there a different approach during teams from a well-being standpoint than, say, the typical UTB season? Because I know like rehabilitation's probably a little tougher when you don't have the availability of rehabilitation like you do with teams, and the organization and the ownership, supplying that. I didn't know if it was if you had that routine and you stuck with it all the way through the season, or if there was you reached out in other areas to do other rehabilitation.
Yeah, for sure. It's reassuring. It's good having Keith here and them guys to always be here to work on us. Not having to worry about what I'm gonna do
Right.
about being hurt and that sort of thing. But I have went to other places as well, but that costs a lot more money.
Yeah.
During the UTV season. Yeah.
Got it. Got
That's
it.
good.
Before we go down the road of teams too deep, let's kind of transition over and talk about yourself as individuals. And Brady, you, Oleson, you being the elder statesman of the couch, not counting myself. At what point in your life did being a professional bull rider, because I always like to talk about the professional side of things, at what point in your life did you make that decision, and then how'd you take it to where you are now?
For me, I decided at an early age that's what I wanted to do, but I don't think I really understood there's a difference between being a professional and just entering up and going to those events. Yeah, the first time I was ever even exposed to that was here in 2022 when I got picked to be on the Texas Rattlers, and Cody Lambert, he talked to me about that, and he talks about that, and that's kind of when it opened my eyes to there is a different level of professionalism. And since then, I committed to that. But prior to that, I tried my best, and I did what I thought was right at the time. And, it didn't get me very far. I had a lot of struggles and all that. But to me, that's all I knew.
Yeah. It seems I grew up in the Western lifestyle, with dad rodeo and bull riding, everything. And with my time, it's just been a constant throughout my life. The thing that I've noticed, I feel like as I got older, was that especially the younger generation, that not necessarily the ones that are coming up right now, but the guys that are in the at the pro level, or rodeoing professionally, or whatever the case may be, it seemed like the party's a big deal, and like people make decisions based on that party, and most of the time the guys, it looks like the guys that are making decisions based on that aren't the pros, but they almost choose that lifestyle over being a pro, an elite level pro like that. And is whenever y'all were starting out, was that something that drew you guys in? Because it seems to draw a lot of guys in.
Yeah, it's very easy to do, and I've done quite a bit of that, really. Yeah,
For sure.
But that's where I'm thankful for, like being here and having this opportunity and being around these guys. That's where I learnt, helped me make a lot of better decisions and become a better person and better bull rider altogether.
For sure.
Yeah, I think it's an easy path to fall into. You don't intend to end up there, but little by little you start to slip, and before you know it, you look back at the last year and you thought, what was I doing? But being around, certain people, they can open your eyes to that. And just by watching, some of the top level guys, if you watch them, it's not just the party and that sort of thing. It's all of it. They take care of themselves. They're tough. They got a whole another level of toughness, physically and mentally. And just if you watch them, you can see who's a real pro and who's not.
Absolutely. And that seems to be a constant throughout whatever sport. I was big in the basketball world, and that was the deal. The guys that were the gym rats that were staying out of, not necessarily staying out of the party, because I mean I understand like that's kind of part of life and like growing up, but the guys that were dedicated to the game on just a whole nother level were the guys that were having the most success. And then when you're talking professionalism, that seems like the guys that are, from a bull riding standpoint, the guys that are dedicated to the game on another level are the guys that are making the most money. And that's kind of the driving force of bull riding, especially because if you're not staying on, you're not making money within reason. With teams where they're turning the knob a little bit, where guys can make a little bit of, not necessarily enough to sustain, I would say, but enough to help. And it seems like it's only going to continue to go up because the product is phenomenal. At least it is to me, and I deal with it on daily. So it's kudos to Sean for the team's idea. While we're on money a little bit, I love talking about money. How has teams, since y'all have been a part of teams, how's the money been as far as with the success that y'all have had in teams? How's the money been?
Yeah, it's been good. It's a huge help. Always having that continuous flow of money coming in, sort of thing, and helps you get down the road. And also, when you do your job right, you're getting paid a lot of money every weekend.
Right.
To do what you love.
Seems like a typical job.
A lot easier.
Almost.
Yeah.
The better you do your job, the more you get paid most of the time. Yeah. I get it.
Keeps coming.
I get it. How's the Rattler locker room? What's the vibe in the Rattler locker room on a typical Saturday?
Yeah, it's about like this guy sitting here in the middle. That's the vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah, not too much goes on. Everybody's just taking care of business.
I'm not at the events in particular. All mine's pre-event, but is that a constant throughout all the locker rooms, or do you feel like y'all are a little unique?
I'd say there's a lot of differences, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Lot louder locker rooms in there, just getting around there. But no, it's good. Everybody's just being comfortable with each other and just not having a worry in the world, and makes the job a lot easier, that's for sure.
We've had plenty of conversations outside of this, and you were involved in team sports growing up. Is this like transitioning from the beginning of your professional bull riding career and everything? Is the field different, knowing that you have an effect? You always had an effect on how much money someone else made, because depending on how good you rode, because you could take money away from them or give them more if you rode bad. But in this particular case, it's a whole team. Is that a welcomed feeling? Is it a little odd, because it's so new? It's still year 3.
It's new and foreign, but I loved it. Like there's nothing more. I love bull riding alone, and I've always loved it. But when you put a group of guys around you, and you're riding with each other, there's nothing quite like walking out of that locker room together, and you got your vest on and you're ready. You know that you're going to do everything you can, and the other 4 guys are going to do everything they can.
It's a good sense of feel.
Yeah, there's no better feeling. And when you all do your job as well, and you come back, you all kind of get to celebrate together and prepare for the next day together.
On the rider development side of things, I talked to, whenever I had Dad on the first one, and I always bring, these statistics up, and obviously the bulls were different, and there were lots of trashy bulls and lots of bulls that ran off or whatever the case may be, but guys were, it seemed like in Dad's era of the late 80s, early 90s, those guys were riding anywhere, from 60 to 90% of their bulls on a constant basis. Right now, just off the top of my head, I want to say in the team season, you're sitting at like 68%, which is fantastic. We'll get you right up in the top of the MVP race. Is there anything different that you know that you've done over the past 2 years? Because I would say that your first year of teams, your riding percentage was not 68%. And it's right now it looks pretty primo. So,
Yeah.
is there something specific that you did different that could help?
Yeah, at the moment it's just leaving nothing out on the table, and definitely working a lot harder than what I used to. Just living it every day, kind of thing, just to be the best that I can, and that's what helps me feel so confident. I think is I spend so much time every day, no matter what I'm doing, thinking about bull riding and working towards it. And when I show up on the weekend, that I just got nothing to worry about because I've left nothing out on the table, and just that's when the fun happens because I've done the work during the week, and I got nothing to think about. I haven't let myself down in any aspects at all, and um, yeah, I just show up feeling ready to ride. I think that's what's changed, sort of thing. I would do the work sometimes, but then I wouldn't, and some days it is hard and it is a bit tough to go and do it, but um, that's what's got to come first, really, and just making better decisions to help me better myself is what's helped me, I think.
It sure seems like, and growing up and just being around you guys on a pretty regular basis, faith seems to be a very strong foundation of the success that you guys have had. And since you've been a part of the team, has your faith grown beyond? Because I know living with Dad on a day to day, I've seen his faith grow over the course of the last 3 seasons, and it just makes me a proud son because you see where that's on a non bull riding level. I can never say that going that path is the wrong one. Has it taken your faith to another level, or no, or you
Yeah,
were
no,
already perfect?
no,
Oh, okay,
absolutely
that's
not.
good.
That's it. Like, if you ever doubt yourself or unsure about yourself, just go and have a talk to Cody because he puts a lot of belief into you, and it's pretty reassuring, just talking with Cody, and it helps a lot. Yeah, doing it by myself, is just so much that I didn't know to what I know now.
I feel like you were in a solid place whenever you came anyway, but it seems like it's just become more routine for you guys, and I stay out of it most of the time just because it's my job to. I, I'm not going to show any bias to any team in particular. I mean, and being a part of the competition department, I deal with you guys on a daily. Whether it's the Rattlers or the Gamblers or the Stampede, but uh, yeah, it seems like y'all's team's foundation's built on that to an extent, and it seems like it's just become more and more.
Yeah, this has really just proven to me that everything happens for a reason. Everything happens perfectly for us. When I came here, I'd gotten things straightened out pretty well, but I think back on that a lot. What if I had ended up somewhere else? What would my life look like? But I just know like this is the place for me. And the last 2, 3 years, that's how I've felt this whole time. Is this is where I'm meant to be, and these are the group of guys that I was meant to be surrounded by. For myself, every guy on the team has helped me grow in ways in my personal life, and same with Cody and the coach. Like everyone on the staff has just been just what I needed, and even today, I'm sitting here with this neck brace on, but like everything's okay because of where I'm at, and you look at it and think, well, my life should be falling apart right now and should feel really scary. And it is a little bit, but the group of people that I'm with, I just know it's going to be all okay. So it's really helped me as a person, who I've become, and help to grow my faith a little stronger every day.
Surrounding yourself by people kind of take, it's a directional to where it gets you where you want to go, or it can take you places maybe you don't want to go. Talk a little bit about that if you would, because we talked about it before we started this deal, and the company that you keep can damn sure help with your success level. And they can't do the job for you, but they absolutely enhance your ability or decrease your ability to do the job. Uh, just touch on that a little bit for the the 16-year-old boy that's at home that maybe he's hanging out with the wrong crowd, or maybe he's looking for the crowd that he needs to be hanging out with so that he can be the best. Uh, direct that kid.
Yeah, who you hang out with can really either make or break you. Like, it is that important. Like I said, before I got here, there were things I didn't even know about, things I'd never even heard of, thought of. And if I had maybe known them at 16, think about where I could have been, or that sort of thing, maybe use that little bit of guidance. But I know for me, I hang out with Fielder constantly, and I have for the last 3 years. I see how hard he works every day, and I'm lazy. Like, sometimes I'm not doing it, but I see him out there doing it, and it's just that little bit of like, yeah, I need to get up and do that too type thing. And that's kind of, they can save you a little bit. You still got to do it yourself, but they can help you make those better decisions, or they can take you down with them.
For sure. What about you?
Yeah, that's the same sort of thing for me. Like, been around Brady, like the person I was when I first came over to the person I've become now is completely different, and that's like I was a little shithead really when I come over, but yeah, just being around Brady and doing the right thing all the time is what helps you have a better life too, I think, and Cody as well. Like, I don't know if you'll find many better guys than him that do anything for you, and it's a huge help to help me become what I am today.
Yeah. We're gonna go story time. Story time. So PBR finals right before the team's draft, round 1, this guy wins the round, and we're in between sections, and I had just met him, the day before, 2 days before. I'd seen, I'd been working the job for a while, seen your name 1,000 times, knew who you were, but I didn't know you. I'd have been able to pick you out of a lineup, and he wins the round, classic round, Alakazam, see, and he literally asked me, sir, can I go across the front of the chutes to the other side? He asked me, and I said, you're winning the round. You can do whatever the hell you want right now. I don't care. Like, yeah, you're good. Like very respectful. Kind of made an impression on me right then, because I was like, he's really living the moment. Like it was really cool to see that at that time, and it was such a good ride. So like you had a little pep in your step and shit. So it was good, but and then, like, remembering that, hey, it's better than barking. We had to let this little dog in here. He's better than barking. And going from there, and then I knew, like, Dad was meeting with you, and then you were on the draft board and getting picked, and then, like, just seeing your transition through teams, and in a bit of a rough spot right now with the whole neck brace, but that's kind of part of the game. Talk about how, just a little, you can be brief on it, to how you can go from winning the round at the PBR finals to being in the situation that you're in right now. You knew that going into it. That was something that you had to come to grips with. McBride was saying how he came to, and I mentioned this on John's too. He came to grips with like death when he was like 14. It's such a strange, uncomfortable thing to talk about, but in this game, it's not as uncomfortable. I feel like it's weird that we can talk about those things, and it's just kind of a universal deal. When that happened, and we read your post after your surgery, and obviously the surgery went well, but what kind of emotions did you go through in that little short window of time?
I mean, there were moments of it where it just didn't really feel. When I landed on the ground in Austin,
Yeah,
the way I felt and what I was feeling in my neck, I had a pretty good idea that whatever had happened was serious enough that this might be it. So in that moment, I'm sitting there on the dirt thinking like that was it. That was the last one. And I just kind of knew deep down I felt that, but I wasn't gonna be set on that yet. And I was kind of hopeful going into the doctors. Maybe they're gonna say, they released me. They put me in a neck collar and they said, "All right, we'll see you in 2 weeks." But Tandy called the specialist, and I was gonna go see him Monday. And so I'm kind of thinking he's gonna tell me like, it's not that serious. You're gonna, wear this for a few months, rehab it, and you'll be able to come back. And in the office when he comes in, he sees the neck, whatever, and he says, "Yeah, your bull riding career is gonna have to be done." And that moment, I kind of lost control of things. Like it was one of the worst things I've experienced, but it was brief because they were wanting to schedule surgery, and I was trying to get all that figured out. And it sets in some days more than others, but like I said, I've got just so many people around me. I mean, team, family, friends, whatever. It's shown me a lot in my life, and that's actually kind of shown me something that I didn't look at before, So I'm really grateful for that, and yeah, I just know I'm gonna get through it. But
yeah. It's sure seems like if someone can take such a serious, I mean, because that's a life altering, serious deal, but that it seems like God always puts something into perspective in those situations if you're willing to open your eyes and your ears and see and hear it, and direct you down a path, another path for success. And then
I just got thinking the last time something like this happened, it wasn't bad like this, but it was changing like that, and it's the World Finals like that. Going into that, I had my butt kicked all year at the UTVs. Like
yeah,
I think I was probably 30th or something. I was right in there. I wasn't killing it. That is part of the game. We all know that is when you decide to ride bulls, that's could happen at any time to anyone. But I'd do it all over again.
yeah.
There's nothing I would change. I'd try to win a little more because
Well,
I
for
didn't
sure.
do that enough. But it was worth every injury I ever had and the experiences I got from it. You just can't find that anywhere else.
It seems like, and that's to segue into it. That was perfect because from a rider development front, and those kids that are out there that are physically able, that are interested in the game, that have been, they rode youth rodeos or they didn't, but they're interested in getting to figure out how to ride or whatever the case may be. It sure seems like if they know injuries in this game are inevitable. I mean, like that's going to happen no matter what. It's been a constant ever since I was little. It's not, it's not if, it's when and how bad. And if kids can understand that choosing this career path that y'all have chosen, and when it's over, being completely content with choosing it, even though you knew what the risk was, like that's an outreach in itself to me, and that's what I want. I want young kids out there, aspiring athletes, or I mean, it might be the 18-year-old wrestler that doesn't want to go to college, but he wants to learn how to ride bulls, and uh, I want to get in touch with those kind of guys and try to enhance the sport, and that's ultimately that was the main deal when we started this podcast, was so that it as an outreach situation. And hearing that on your end, it sure seems like if they're out there listening and they're on the fence, well, just know, for someone who's experienced it from one end to the other, uh, he wouldn't have it any other way. So I appreciate that. I appreciate getting to hear that, and for the fans. Let's talk a little bit. Let's talk a little bit about this season in particular. Looking at statistics and everything, it seems like the teams that are playing against you guys are on their A game whenever they play you guys. Looking at total points scored on teams versus other teams, and the amount of bulls that you guys are riding versus the other teams and the standings, etc. Uh, Seems like, being the reigning champs, do y'all feel like there's been a target on your back, and that teams know that they got to show up on a different level whenever they're competing against you guys?
Yeah, it could be. Yeah, for sure. But we really got nothing to worry about. The job still remains the same, and I actually honestly don't think about that sort of stuff much, and I don't pay much attention to it. But it's just knowing in myself. That's all I got to worry about, and doing my job the best that I can.
Do you know where your team's at in the team standings right now?
No.
That I said, do you know where you're at in the MVP race?
No. I did see I was fourth last week or something.
Yeah. Well, that works for me.
Yeah.
I was like, I knew he wasn't going to know where their team was ranked in the team standings. Hit me.
Why don't you want to know? Is it a mind thing? Do you think it's going to affect you? Like, is it just you want to be locked in? Or
No, it doesn't really worry me either way. It's just I've got a goal in place, and that's what I'm working towards, and nothing else really matters to me. And it's just really taking care of business. That's what I've got to do. I'm just thankful to be doing what I love, and that's all that matters really. Is I get so much out of it for myself that the other stuff doesn't matter.
How old are you right now?
24.
You sure? There was a pause there.
I did have to think about it.
So,
I only have a birthday once
he doesn't
a year.
even worry about how old he is.
Only comes around once a year, right?
Yeah, for sure. Having some major success, I would say, the past. I mean, I had a phenomenal UTB season, really good finals. It was so close to even being even better. How many 7-second rides were there over the course of the season last year? You figure?
Yeah, I don't know. There's probably quite a few, but I didn't take much notice of them. Only the ones that I did ride.
Yeah.
Great. Yeah.
Perfect. With the major success and hopefully that just continues throughout your entire career. I mean, obviously it fizzles out whenever you're done. What's your plans as far as like where you see your life going after bull riding? Because obviously bull riding kind of shapes that, and the success that you have shapes it. So 15 years from now, what's it looking like for you?
Yeah, I want to be able to set myself up fairly well with my next career, next life, whatever. I just want to have my own cattle property back home, and be able to live there and do what I want and live with my horses and dogs there. And also I've thought about, just helping the youth out and bull riding and whatever else in any way I can help. It's that also is a good feeling in myself as well.
Speaking youth, Do you guys see like the sport right now? Do you feel like there's more guys involved in the sport than there used to be, or do you feel like there's less?
Where I come from in Australia, there is, but there isn't. There's always new guys coming up and riding, but
For sure.
it doesn't seem like it used to now. Like it's starting to get less.
Yeah.
Seems of it.
What about you?
I think there's probably less. I mean, I don't really have too good of a pulse on that, but I know that the opportunities are bigger than ever and more than ever. So, hopefully that creates some growth and inspires some people to get into the sport.
It seems to me like there's a weird aura that's put on bull riding to where if you're not like one of the top 10 guys in the world, you're just not making enough money to really make it a career. Or I don't know what the consensus number is on that, from a ranking standpoint right now. But you said opportunities, and being in the competition department and knowing, approving events and sanctioning other events, and the amount of opportunities that come across my desk on a daily, and that Jack and Ruby, the people in the competition department, that we see all the time, the opportunities are out there. Talking to Dad on the first podcast, and they used to pay, and this was on the elite level, they used to pay $1,000 entry fee, and the winner won 10 grand. I know there's multiple Velocity Tour events where guys have won 10 grand over the course of the last 4 years. And, like Grayson Cole, for instance, he won the Velocity Tour last year. And the Velocity Tours, it's different now. It's from January through May, outside of the Challenger Series. I mean, there's same formatting, but Velocity Tour itself, like, and Grayson, he made, I want to say it was like 86,000 last year in the Velocity Tour. Got on 46 bulls, rode 15 of them, made 86,000. So he got the $50,000 bonus. But when you look at totals, he rode 15 bulls. For every bull he rode, he got paid it was like $5,500 for everyone he stayed on. For everyone he got on, including the ones he got bucked off of, it was like 1,800. And that's the Velocity Tour. That's only 40 bulls. 46 bulls, I think, is the exact number. I mean, it's 42 or 46. I'm going off the dome. But that's the Velocity Tour. It's not the Elite Series. And it's $86,000. Well, that's a good annual paycheck. And that's for working from January through May. So I look at numbers like that, and it seems like the opportunities are fantastic. And if you were even thinking about being a bull rider whatsoever, no better time to take a shot at it. It seems like, or I mean, it'd be a good idea if you had the right place to go learn. That's what we're doing with the coaches certification program, and sending guys to these certified coaches, and with teams. I mean, teams is I feel like the best rider development thing that's out there. And I mean, y'all statistics, both of you have gone up. I would say from an elite level standpoint, is it still developmental for you guys? Obviously you have your way of doing it, and the Cowboy way is getting the job done and getting the bull rode, but the simplifying the details would be like my analysis of it. Like watching you guys, like it seems like y'all's explanations have just gotten so much more simple, and not simple in the terms of like dumb, but simple in the sense of y'all just understand it so much better.
Yeah, I think you can learn something every day. It doesn't really matter what level you're at or who you are, how good you are. I think that you can always be learning something.
If you're willing to, yeah.
Yeah.
It's not going to get handed to you. You got to go and take it.
That's the hard part.
Yeah, and that's just, you can do it from time to time, but if you live it every day, then that's what's going to make the difference with how much you win, I suppose.
That's the difference in his pay and my pay.
Do you think that's a hard thing that people have to come to, like, to terms with when they're joining or trying to become bull riders. Like they come in and they're like, I have to actually give this my 100%. It's not maybe like another sport where they can kind of get by and go like 50-50 on it. Maybe they party on weekends. Maybe they do this. It's a sport where if you do go 50-50, you might die. So it's like, do you think that's for a lot of kids, younger, current pros, the best of the best, that's hard for them to still come to like terms with?
See, that's why you're here, Randy. That's perfect. Go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that would go for everyone, and I'm not sure if it's just this sport or any sport, and there's so many distractions out there that can lead you from being your best to not. That's where you got to make the right decisions and what you really want to do, I suppose.
This podcast is getting brought to us by Sequel PBR Evo. That's actually the name. PBR Evo's the Bullshit podcast. PBR Evo, just a little quick rundown for everyone listening. It's kind of like a Facebook for bull rider style situation. There's a news feed. You create a profile. You give the breakdown of age, height, weight, what hand you ride with, whatever the case may be. You can upload your videos. You can let PBR teams coaches have access to your profiles. The public, I mean, roughly, if they wanted to make a profile on there, they could. And if you wanted to put on there where you were going next, where you went last week, how you did, results, it's kind of limitless. And I urge any guy out there that owns a bull rope or wants to buy one or whatever the case may be, get a profile on there. And it's just it's a community, roughly a community of bull riders, and just an innovative way for us to get everyone together and talk about events, talk about where you're going, post those videos, help. It's really a good recruiting tool for PBR teams coaches, especially looking at like kids that are, going to be available in the draft the following year or whatever the case, or maybe in 2 years, and they need to start making a plan to figure out a way to get that kid, whatever the case may be.
It's a great place to get exposure and be seen by those coaches, or maybe reach out to them and get some tips or some help, and maybe to help further your career.
I do know, I mean, and Randy was here when we did it. The educational content on there is solid, whether you're talking about what equipment you need to shoot procedure, to mental game, rehab, prehab, whatever you want to call it. I mean, there's an abundance of things on there that if you're a rookie, novice, whatever the case may be, maybe it'll help you out. And if you're a pro, maybe something basic on there can help you, re-trigger some sort of memory that you weren't using at that moment. And then one other thing that's on there is the PBR certified coaches, not the coaches of the teams, but there's 6 of them right now. If you're a guy out there looking to go to a clinic or school or get some individual clinic like set up, their information is on there. You can always find it through there. If you are completely against the PBR Evo community or whatever the case may be, but you're looking for someone to teach you, reach out to the competition department through PBR.com. Eventually it'd get to me, and I'll help you get a hold of those guys and negotiate whatever situation you're trying to get. But we're always looking. We want the game to expand. Teams is taking it in a great way. UTB's phenomenal. The money's bigger and better than it's ever been. The Bulls are also bigger and better than they've ever been. And we need some more Dragon Slayers out there. So if you wanna get involved in the game from a competition standpoint, holler at us. We'll point you in the right direction, and hopefully it works out. But no, just to sign off, appreciate you guys being open and helping me out on the deal.
You bet.
Absolutely.
Thanks for having me.
You bet. Good luck.
Signing out.
Oh yeah. Mic drop. Thanks, fellas.
I'll go through